It was a quiet night. The city lights shimmered far away, blurred by the drizzle on the glass windows of a small cafe. I was walking past, my thoughts heavy and dull, when my eyes caught her sitting alone by the window. Something about her presence made the world slow down. I stopped without realizing it, staring through the glass as if I had stumbled upon a scene I wasn't meant to witness. Her eyes lifted and met mine. For a second, I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. She smiled, soft, warm, almost familiar. And then, to my shock, she stood up and walked straight toward me. "Were you waiting for me?" she asked. Her voice was calm but carried something mysterious. I blinked, caught completely off guard. "Me? No, I don't think so. I was just passing by." She tilted her head, studying me like she knew something I didn't. "You're exactly how he described you." My chest tightened. The word echoed in my mind. "Who told you about me?" I asked, my voice uncertain. She laughed softly, almost playfully. "Him, the one I came here for." For a moment, I didn't know what to say. My thoughts scattered, colliding between curiosity and a strange pang of jealousy. I forced a smile. "So, you mistook me for someone else?" "Not exactly," she replied. "It feels like meeting you is part of meeting him." Her words confused me even more, but I didn't want the conversation to end. Something about her drew me in, like gravity pulling me closer. I hesitated before asking, "Do you mind if I sit down with you? Just for a while?" She looked back at the cafe, then at me. "If you want to." We walked inside together. I sat across from her, the soft light casting gentle shadows on her face. "What's your name?" I asked. "Lena," she said simply, then leaned forward. "And you?" I swallowed, suddenly aware of how ordinary my own name felt. "I'm Daniel," she repeated, as if testing how it sounded. "Yes," he said, "you had kind eyes. I see it now." Her words left me frozen. "He said that." "Yes," she replied without hesitation. "He talks about you." I frowned, my mind racing. Who is he to me? Her smile faltered for the first time. She looked down at her hands, playing with the rim of her cup. "That's not for me to say. You'll know when the time is right." The silence between us stretched, heavy but not uncomfortable. I studied her face, the calmness in her eyes, the faint sadness hiding behind her smile. Finally, I asked softly, "So, why are you here tonight?" Her voice lowered, almost like a confession. "Because I'm waiting for him. But until then, I don't want to be alone." Her honesty cut through me. She was right there, in front of me, yet her heart belonged to someone else. Still, I found myself saying, "Then I'll sit with you, at least for tonight." Her lips curved into a small smile. "Thank you." We talked for hours about music, about books, about meaningless little things that somehow felt important. I laughed more that night than I had in weeks, maybe months, but each time her eyes sparkled, I couldn't ignore the truth. She wasn't looking at me. She was seeing him through me. When the cafe finally began to close, she stood up and glanced toward the door. I should go. I rose too unsure if I should say goodbye or ask to see her again. The words tangled in my throat. Before leaving, she turned back to me. "You remind me of him so much. It's almost comforting." I forced a smile. "And is that a good thing?" Her expression softened, but her answer was quiet. "It's not fair to you." She walked out into the night. leaving me standing there with the echo of her words. I stepped outside after her, but she was already gone, swallowed by the city lights. My chest ached with something I couldn't name, and that's when it hit me, something I didn't want to admit but couldn't deny. She had touched something deep in me. Her smile, her laughter, her attention, it felt like it was mine, but it wasn't, because she loved me, only for someone else. The days that followed felt unreal. I kept telling myself it was nothing, that she was just a stranger I happened to meet, but somehow she kept finding her way into my life. The first time after that night, I saw her again at the same cafe. She waved at me like we were old friends. "Daniel," she called out, smiling. "You came." I hesitated at the door before walking in. "I didn't come for you," I lied. "I just needed coffee." She laughed softly. "Sure you did." We sat together again, and soon one meeting turned into many. We talked in the cafe, at the library, even during late evening walks. She became a part of my routine, slipping into my world without asking permission. And the strangest part was, I didn't want her to leave, but there was always him. One afternoon, she leaned over the table, eyes bright. "Do you know what's funny? You laugh just like him." Same little pause at the end. I tried to smile, though my chest tightened. "You really think so?" "Yes," she said, without hesitation. "Sometimes it feels like you are him." I clenched my hands under the table, trying to keep my voice steady. "But I'm not." Her smile faltered for a moment, but then she shrugged. "I know, still. It's comforting." That word again, comforting. Like I was a blanket she borrowed when the cold became too much. Nothing more. One evening, as we walked along the riverside, I gathered my courage. The reflection of city lights shimmered on the water as I asked, "Lena, why do you keep seeing me? Is it because I remind you of him?" She stopped walking. Her silence stretched, and I almost wished I hadn't asked. Finally, she whispered, "Yes, being with you. It's like having a piece of him back." Her words cut deeper than I expected. "So that's all I am to you? A piece of someone else?" She looked at me then, her eyes soft, almost guilty. "Daniel, you don't understand. He's the one I love. But when I'm with you, it doesn't hurt as much. The loneliness, the waiting, it feels lighter." I forced a laugh, though it came out broken. "So I'm medicine then? A cure for your loneliness?" "No," she said quickly. "You're more than that. I wouldn't spend time with you if you weren't important to me." Important. The word twisted in my chest. Important, but not enough. Not in the way I wanted. I swallowed hard, trying to keep the bitterness out of my voice. "But not the one you choose." She looked away, unable to answer. The silence between us said more than her words ever could. We continued walking, the night air heavy with things unsaid. Every laugh, every smile, every stolen glance, it all felt like it was mine. Yet it wasn't. I was a shadow she leaned on, not the light she longed for. Later that night, when I was alone in my room, her words echoed in my mind. "He's the one I love. But when I'm with you, it doesn't hurt as much." I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell her that I wasn't him, that I was standing right in front of her, flesh and blood, wanting her for myself. But I didn't. I swallowed it all, burying the pain under silence, because the truth was bitter. I wasn't her choice. I was just her substitute. Every moment with her felt like a tug-of-war inside me. I told myself I could keep going like this, even if her love wasn't really mine. But pretending gets heavy, and lists, especially the ones we tell ourselves, break apart. One night we sat together on a bench under the glow of city lights. The streets were quiet, the hum of cars distant. She was unusually silent, her gaze lost in the distance. I leaned closer. You look like you're miles away. What are you thinking about? Her lips parted slowly. Do you ever feel like you're living someone else's life? Her words struck me like lightning. My throat tightened. What do you mean? She turned toward me, her eyes shimmering with something I couldn't read. When I'm with you, sometimes it feels like I'm with him, but other times I forget about him completely, and that scares me. I froze. My heart screamed with hope and despair all at once. So, when you forget him, who do you see? She hesitated. You. The single word sent a wave through me. For a moment, I almost believed it was real. But then she looked down, shaking her head. But it's wrong, Daniel. I shouldn't feel that way. He's the one I chose, not you. My voice cracked before I could stop it. Then why are you here with me? Why keep meeting me if it's so wrong? She bit her lip, silent. Then, softly, because I can't stay away. With you, I feel alive. But the moment I remember him, guilt eats me alive. Her confession tore me apart. I wanted to shout, forget him, choose me. But my fear chained me down. What if she didn't? What if she walked away? I clenched my fists, forcing calm into my voice. You can't keep using me as a bridge to him. I'm not a mirror, Lena. I'm real. I'm here. Her eyes filled with tears. I know. And that's what scares me the most. We sat in silence, the night stretching between us. I could feel the cracks forming in her illusion, the walls she had built around her love for him. And in those cracks, I thought I saw something fragile, something that might be for me, but I was too afraid to touch it. Finally, she whispered, Daniel, don't hate me. I looked at her, my chest heavy. I could never hate you. That's the problem. She reached for my hand, and I let her, even though it burned. You're too good to me. No, I said bitterly. I'm just too weak to walk away. Her fingers tightened around mine. Then don't walk away. Not yet. And just like that, I was trapped again, willingly, hopelessly, that night. As we walked home in silence, I knew something had changed. She wasn't as sure of him anymore. The illusion she was clinging to was beginning to crack, and in those cracks, maybe she was starting to see me. For weeks, I lived inside a fragile dream. She laughed more, smiled longer, and sometimes, just sometimes I believed her eyes
I'm so glad
were
I found you!
On me. But hope
Oh,
is
me
cruel.
too.
It waits until you're ready to believe, and then it destroys you. One evening, I sat at our usual cafe, sipping coffee, while waiting for her. The bell above the door jingled, and she rushed in, her face glowing with excitement I had never seen before. Daniel, she gasped, out of breath. He's back. The words stabbed through me. I forced myself to sit still. What? Her hands trembled as she held on to the chair. He came back. After all this time, he's here. My stomach sank, but I kept my expression steady. That's good news, isn't it? Her smile was brighter than the lights above us. It's the best news. I've waited so long. I nodded, swallowing the pain. So, when do you see him? Tomorrow, she said eagerly. And I want you to come with me. The cup almost slipped from my hand. Me. Why? She reached across the table, gripping my wrist. Because I want him to meet you. You're so much like him. It'll be perfect. Perfect. That's what she called it. I pulled my hand back, hiding the ache in my chest. Lena, do you even hear yourself? You want me to stand next to the man you love, the man I've been replacing in your life. Her smile faltered, confusion flickering in her eyes. Replacing? No, Daniel. You've been helping me survive. You've been my comfort. I laughed bitterly. Comfort, substitute, call it whatever you want it, still means I was never enough. Don't say that, she pleaded. You're important to me. Important, I repeated, the word like poison on my tongue. But not the one you choose. Never the one. Her eyes glistened, but her voice remained steady. Please, don't make this harder. Tomorrow, just be there. For me, I stared at her, torn apart. 1,000 things screamed inside me, say no, walk away, save yourself. But when I looked at her trembling smile, I broke again. Fine, I whispered. I'll go. Her relief was immediate. She reached over, squeezing my hand. Thank you. You don't know how much this means to me. I forced a smile, though my chest felt like it was being torn apart. Yeah, sure, anything for you. The rest of the evening was a blur. She talked about him, his return, his words, his promises. Every sentence was a dagger. I nodded, I listened, I even smiled, but inside, I was bleeding. When she finally left, I sat alone in the cafe, long after closing time. My reflection stared back at me from the darkened window, hollow-eyed and tired. One truth echoed louder than anything else. The man she had been searching for, the one she truly loved, had finally returned, and I was about to lose everything, without ever having it in the first place. The next day came faster than I wanted. My stomach twisted as I followed Lena through the crowded street. She was glowing, her steps light, her hand clutching my arm as if we were about to share something beautiful. But I knew better. We stopped in front of a small park. A man stood there, tall, confident, with the kind of presence that made people glance twice. His eyes found Lena first, softening instantly. Then they flicked to me, sharp, calculating. Ethan, Lena breathed, rushing forward. You're really here? He caught her in his arms, and I watched as she melted against him, like she had been waiting her whole life for that embrace. I looked away, my fists tightening in my pockets. When they finally pulled apart, Ethan's eyes landed on me again. And who's this? Lena grabbed my hand, tugging me closer. This is Daniel. He's been with me while you were gone. He reminds me of you. His brows lifted, his lips curling in a smirk. Reminds you of me. That's interesting. I forced a polite smile. Nice to meet you. Ethan extended his hand, but his grip was firm, almost crushing. So you've been keeping her company, huh? I met his gaze, refusing to look away. Someone had to. His smirk widened. Brave of you. Lena quickly stepped between us, sensing the tension. Stop. Don't make this weird. Daniel has been good to me. Without him, I don't know what I would have done. Ethan glanced at her, then back at me. Good to you, huh? That's nice. But you know, Lena, I never asked you to replace me. Her face flushed. He wasn't a replacement. He's my friend. The word stabbed deep. I almost laughed, but it came out bitter. Is that what I am to you, Lena? Just a friend. She turned toward me, eyes wide, panic in her voice. Daniel, please. Not now, but it was too late. The dam inside me had cracked. I sat with you when you cried. I listened to every word, every memory of him. I became your shadow because you couldn't let go of him. And now, when he's back, I'm just supposed to smile and step aside. The silence that followed was suffocating. Ethan's smirk faded. He studied me carefully, then scoffed. You fell for her, didn't you? I clenched my jaw, refusing to answer. He chuckled darkly. Pathetic. My fists shook. Better pathetic than the guy who walked away and left her broken. His expression hardened, but Lena gasped. Stop it, both of you. She looked between us, her voice trembling. Daniel, Ethan, please. I can't. I stepped back, the weight of it all crushing me. No, Lena, you can. You just don't want to. Her eyes filled with tears. Daniel, don't do this. I shook my head. You already chose. You chose him the moment he came back. I was never really here, was I? I was just holding your place for him. The tears spilled down her cheeks. That's not true. Ethan slipped an arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. Yes, it is. My chest burned, but my voice stayed steady. Enjoy your perfect reunion. But remember, this one day, you'll see him for who he really is. And when that day comes, don't look for me. Her lips trembled, but she didn't speak. She didn't run after me. She just stood there, in his arms, as I turned and walked away. Every step felt like tearing my heart out, but I kept walking, because if I stopped, I'd never leave. Days passed, but the memory of that confrontation wouldn't leave me. Lena stopped calling as often. When she did, her words were short, distracted. I knew why she was with him. One night, I found myself walking near the same cafe where it all began, and there they were, Lena and Ethan sitting together by the window. She was smiling, but it wasn't the same smile she gave me. This one was nervous, fragile. I pushed the door open. The bell chimed, and their heads turned. Daniel, Lena said quickly, surprise flashing across her face. Ethan leaned back in his chair, smirking. Look who decided to drop by. I ignored him and looked at her. Can we talk? Her eyes darted nervously to Ethan. Maybe later. No, now. My voice was sharper than I intended. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Why so serious? Sit down, man. Join us. I sat, my gaze locked on Lena. Are you happy? She blinked. What? Are you happy with him? I asked again, my voice lower this time. Her lips parted, but before she could answer, Ethan laughed. Of course she is. Look at her, she's glowing. But I saw the flicker of doubt in her eyes. I leaned forward. Then why do you look afraid? Lena's hands tightened around her cup. Daniel, please, not here. Ethan's smirk faded. You've had your fun playing knight in shining armor, but it's over. She's mine. Something inside me snapped. She's not a prize to be claimed, Ethan. She's a person. Or did you forget that when you left her behind? His jaw clenched. Watch your mouth. Lena grabbed his arm, whispering, Stop, Ethan. But I couldn't stop. Do you know what it was like, Lena? Watching you cry every night because of him. Listening to you blame yourself for his silence. I was there when he wasn't, and now he waltzes back, and you just Daniel. Her voice cracked, eyes shining with tears. You don't understand. Then explain it, I demanded. Help me understand why you keep choosing someone who already broke you. Ethan slammed his fist against the table, making the cups rattle. Enough. His voice cut through the cafe. drawing stares from nearby tables. She doesn't need to explain herself to you. You're nothing but a replacement, a cheap copy. My chest tightened, but I didn't flinch. If I'm nothing, why do you feel so threatened? His eyes narrowed, fury burning in them. Lena stood abruptly, her chair screeching against the floor. Stop it, both of you. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I can't do this. She grabbed her bag and rushed out the door. For a moment, Ethan and I just stared at each other. His glare was sharp enough to cut glass, but I didn't care. I stood, stepping closer. My voice was calm, almost too calm. She may not see it now, but she will. And when she does, I'll be there. You won't. He leaned in, his breath hot with anger. Don't count on it. I walked out before he could say more. The cool night air hit me like a slap. My heart was racing, my hands trembling, but beneath it all was something new certainty. I had seen the fear in Lena's eyes. She wasn't as sure about him as she wanted to be. The cracks were there, and sooner or later, the truth would come out. I couldn't sleep for days after the cafe incident. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Lena's tears and Ethan's smirk. The weight of it pressed against my chest until I could hardly breathe. But fate didn't wait long. The breaking point came sooner than I thought. It was a Saturday night when Lena called. Her voice was shaky. Daniel, can you meet me? I didn't hesitate. Where are you? At the riverside, she whispered. Please, just come. When I arrived, she was standing alone under the streetlight, arms wrapped tightly around herself. Lena, I asked softly. She turned, her eyes red. I can't do this anymore. I walked closer. What happened? Her lips trembled. Ethan, he's not the same. He gets angry so easily. Tonight he yelled at me because I didn't answer fast enough. He grabbed my wrist so hard it still hurts. She held out her arm, faint red marks visible under the light. My fists clenched. He hurt you. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I thought I knew him, but maybe I don't. I don't know what to do, Daniel. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. Leave him. You don't owe him anything. Not after this. She shook her head, hugging herself tighter. It's not that simple. He says he needs me, that I'm the only one who understands him. If I walk away, her voice broke. What if he falls apart? Lena, I said firmly, you can't destroy yourself just to hold him together. That's not love. That's chains. Her gaze locked on mine, desperate and torn. Then why do I still feel like I belong to him? Because he made you believe that, I replied. But it's a lie. You don't belong to him, Lena. You belong to yourself. Silence stretched between us, heavy with all the things she didn't want to admit. Then, behind us, a voice cut through the night. Well, isn't this sweet? Ethan. He stepped out of the shadows, his expression dark, his fists clenched at his sides. I moved in front of Lena instinctively. What are you doing here? He ignored me, his eyes locked on her. So this is where you run to when you're upset. Him. Lena's voice shook. Ethan, please, don't please me, he snapped. After everything, you sneak around behind my back with him. I stepped forward. Enough. You don't get to twist this. You hurt her. His jaw tightened. Stay out of this, Daniel. I won't, I shot back. Not when you treat her like this. Ethan's eyes flared with rage. He lunged forward, but I didn't move. My voice stayed calm. Hit me if you want, but it won't change what you did. and it won't erase the truth Lena already sees. He stopped, breathing hard, his fists trembling at his sides. Behind me, Lena whispered, "Ethan, I can't keep doing this." His head snapped toward her. "What are you saying?" Her tears glistened under the streetlight. "I thought I still loved you. I thought you were the person I'd been waiting for. But you're not. You're someone else, now someone cruel. I don't recognize you anymore." His face twisted. "So you're choosing him." "I'm choosing myself," she said firmly, though her voice cracked. "For once in my life, I'm choosing me." The words hit him like a slap. His eyes burned with fury, then with something else, panic. He shook his head violently. "No, no, you don't mean that. You can't." But she did. I saw it in her eyes. Ethan let out a broken laugh, but it didn't sound human. "Fine, walk away. But don't come crawling back when he leaves you too." With that, he turned and stormed off into the night, his footsteps echoing until they faded. Silence fell. Lena's body sagged with relief and exhaustion. I turned to her gently. "Are you okay?" She nodded weakly, then whispered, "I'm scared, Daniel. What if he comes back?" I took a deep breath. "Then he'll face me. But you're not alone anymore. You never were." Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time they weren't only from pain. The night after Ethan stormed away, I couldn't stop replaying Lena's words. "I'm choosing myself." It felt like a victory, but I knew it wasn't over. Choices weren't final in one moment, they were tested in the days that followed. 3 days later, Lena called me. Her voice was steady, but I heard the weight behind it. "Daniel, can we meet? I need to talk to you." My chest tightened. "Where?" "The old cafe," she said quietly. "Where it all started." When I arrived, she was already there, sitting by the window like the first night we met. Only now, her smile was tired, her eyes shadowed with everything we'd been through. I sat across from her. "You wanted to talk." She nodded slowly. "I've been thinking about everything. About Ethan, about you, about me." My heart pounded. Her hands wrapped around her coffee cup, gripping it like it was the only thing holding her steady. When Ethan came back, I thought my life was finally falling into place. But it wasn't. It was falling apart. I thought I loved him. But maybe I loved the memory of him, not who he is now. I stayed quiet, letting her spill the words she'd been carrying. Her eyes lifted to mine. "And you, Daniel, you've been there for me when I didn't deserve it. You saw me at my worst, and you stayed. But that scares me too." My throat tightened. "Why does it scare you?" "Because," she whispered, "what if I hurt you the way I hurt myself? What if I end up needing you to fill the spaces Ethan left, instead of loving you for you?" The honesty in her words cut deeper than lies ever could. I leaned forward. "Then don't decide out of fear, Lena. Decide because it's what your heart wants. If it's not me, I'll walk away. But if it is, then I want all of you, not just the broken pieces." Tears welled in her eyes. "You'd really walk away?" "Yes," I said firmly, even though the thought of leaving her ripped me apart. "Because love isn't chains. It's a choice." She looked down, silent for what felt like forever. Then she whispered, "I don't know if I'm ready." I swallowed hard. "Then maybe the choice is to stop choosing, to give yourself time. No Ethan, no me, just you." Her head jerked up, surprised. "You'd let me do that?" "It's not about letting you," I said gently. It's about you finally letting yourself." Her lips trembled, and then, for the first time in weeks, she smiled a small, fragile smile, but real. "Daniel, you're not who I thought you were. You're better." I tried to smile back, though my chest ached. "Don't put me on a pedestal, Lena. I'm just a man who loves you. Maybe too much." She reached across the table, her hand brushing mine. "I don't know what the future looks like, but I know one thing: I want to find out who I am without Ethan's shadow, and without making you one too." I squeezed her hand gently. "Then that's your choice." Her eyes glistened. "And you, what's your choice?" I took a deep breath. "To wait. For as long as it takes. Not because I expect anything, but because you're worth waiting for." She let out a shaky laugh, half tears, half relief. "You'll regret saying that, maybe," I admitted, smiling softly. "But right now, it feels right." For the first time, there was no illusion between us. No pretending, no substitutes, just truth. And in that truth, I felt something stronger than hope-faith. Faith that no matter what she chose tomorrow, tonight, for the first time, Lena had chosen herself, and maybe that was the beginning of everything. I thought Ethan would disappear after that night, but men like him don't vanish quietly. They burn everything before they go dark. It started with the calls. Lena showed me her phone one morning, 10 missed calls, all from him. Then the messages came, flooding in with apologies, threats, promises, each one more desperate than the last. One evening, she called me in panic. "Daniel, he's outside my apartment." I was there in minutes. Ethan stood by the gate, pacing like a caged animal. When he saw me, his face twisted. "Of course," he sneered. "The replacement hero." "Ethan, stop this," I said firmly. "You're making it worse." His eyes locked on Lena behind me. "Lena, just listen. I messed up, I know, but we can fix this. You can't throw away what we had." Her voice trembled, but she stood tall. "What we had doesn't exist anymore, Ethan. You killed it when you left, and you buried it when you came back." He shook his head violently. "No, no, you don't mean that. You love me. You always have." She flinched, but her words were steady. "I loved the boy you used to be, not the man you've become." His face twisted with rage. "And you think he will love you?" He jabbed a finger at me. "He's nothing but a shadow of me." I stepped forward. "If that's true, why are you so afraid?" His jaw clenched. "I'm not afraid of you." "Then prove it," I said evenly. "Walk away for a moment." His mask cracked. Panic flickered in his eyes. "If I walk away, I have nothing." Lena's voice softened, but it cut deeper than any blade. "That's not my fault, Ethan. You lost me long before Daniel ever stood by my side." He staggered back as if she'd struck him. "You really mean it?" His voice was hollow, broken. "Yes," she whispered. "I mean it." Silence stretched, heavy and suffocating. Then Ethan laughed, a bitter, empty sound. "Fine. Choose him. But don't think you'll be happy. He'll never love you the way I did." I met his gaze. "You're right. I'll love her better." His face twisted one last time, a storm of anger and despair colliding in his eyes. Then he turned and walked away, his steps heavy, his shoulders hunched. I watched him go, a strange mix of relief and sorrow swirling inside me. For all his cruelty, Ethan wasn't just a villain. He was a man who couldn't let go of what he'd already destroyed. Lena let out a shaky breath beside me. It's over. I looked at her, at the tears streaming silently down her face. Yes, I whispered. It's over. But deep inside, I knew the truth. Ethan's downfall wasn't just the end of him. It was the beginning of us. If she still wanted there to be an us. After Ethan walked away, the silence felt heavier than his presence ever did. Lena stood next to me, trembling though she tried to hide it. She whispered, "Is it really over?" I looked at her, then at the empty street where he had vanished. Yes, he's gone. But closure isn't about him leaving. It's about you deciding you don't need him anymore. Her eyes shimmered. I want to believe that. I do. But part of me still feels guilty. Like I abandoned him. You didn't abandon him, I said gently. You saved yourself. There's a difference. She sank onto the steps near her apartment, burying her face in her hands. I don't know if I'm strong enough. I sat beside her. You just proved you are. You told him no. You chose yourself. That takes more strength than staying chained to him ever did. She let out a shaky laugh. And where does that leave you? The question hung in the air. My chest tightened, but I forced myself to answer honestly. Waiting, hoping, but not demanding. If being with me feels like another chain, then I'd rather stay by your side as a friend than lose you completely. Her head snapped up, eyes wide. You'd really settle for that? I nodded slowly. I'd rather have part of you in honesty than all of you in lies. Her lips trembled, and she whispered, "Daniel, you're not supposed to say things that make me cry more." I gave a weak smile. Then maybe you needed to hear them. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The night was quiet, only the hum of distant traffic filling the space. Finally, Lena took a deep breath. I don't know what the future looks like. I don't know if I can promise love today, tomorrow, or even months from now. I swallowed hard, bracing myself, but she continued, her hand finding mine. I know that when I picture healing, I see you there. And that has to mean something. My chest tightened, not with pain this time, but with something fragile and warm. It means everything, I whispered. She leaned her head against my shoulder. Then maybe closure isn't about ending things with Ethan. Maybe it's about beginning things with me. I exhaled slowly, the weight on my heart finally lifting. Then let's begin. No illusions, no substitutes, just us. Her smile was faint but real, just us. And in that moment, for the first time, I felt free. Free from the shadow of Ethan. Free from the pain of being almost enough. Free to finally believe that maybe love didn't have to be borrowed. It could be mine.